you're looking for a hydration product, what are the things that you're looking for?
If I'm ever looking for a hydration product, the number one thing I'm looking for is that it tastes good. Like, water has no taste at all. Water's what, like, nature turns to rehydrate, and that's a little bit boring. And then you come down, are you gonna go with sugar? You're gonna go with sugar-free? And all of this is just conversations point. Does this taste better than the other product? That's it. Jocko Hydrate is delicious. It's got electrolytes. That's between you guys. I don't know what an electrolyte is. Frankly, I don't even need one. You could give me more electrolytes than the opponent, I'll beat the opponent. You could give me less than the opponent, I'll still beat the opponent. I can't even spell electrolyte. This has them, whatever that is. And it tastes good, which is really what matters. Who was the star of that for you? Because it felt as though public sentiment was with Ige. I certainly get that. Boy, that was an awesome move that he pulled. I just feel that maybe that's what Ariel Helwani would call a recency bias. That was the most recent thing you saw, and so we're tipping our hat to that. Like, you got to imagine what Diego Lopez went through. Let me ask you a question. Did Lopez get tired at the end of that fight? Yeah, he did. You saw it. Sure he did. But do you understand why he got tired at the end of that fight? It wasn't just because he was taking on a badass. The emotion that he went through the week where you're trying to stay calm, your coaches will keep you off your internet. Your coach will eventually come to your room, take your phone if he needs to. He wants those voices down. And everybody got that. Dan Ige had that in spades. He had it because he had no idea that he was fighting. He went to sleep on Friday night. Not a care in the world. Lopez, first off, was going to have to take on a former world title challenger and a top guy. Lopez, meanwhile, had the pressure of being a favorite over Ortega, the former title challenger. He gets woken up at 3 in the morning on Friday. That was yesterday, right? If this was fight night, that was yesterday. And people keep acting like it was Thursday, and that is actually a big difference. 2 days, that's a big difference. It was yesterday. 3 in the morning on Friday is not Thursday night. That's Friday morning. He gets woken up and told his fight has moved to 151. He's a little bit begrudging about it. But okay, he accepts, and that's where they inform him, no, you're misunderstanding. We weigh 151. We're asking you to move the fight to 155. There is no 151 weight class. You misunderstood. Now he's got to rethink about it again. Okay, fine, 150, got it. Changes. They then call him with a whole new opponent and a totally different weight class that they made up called 165, and he said yes. Like, can you imagine the up and down that he went through, no matter how steady he appeared, how cool he acted? You saw with the fatigue in the third round how much emotion matters. And I feel that we're shining up both guys here, right? We got two studs. I'm just asking, if you were to really balance it, who was the bigger tough guy? Ige or Lopez? Don't forget what Lopez did. That fight does not happen without Dan Ige. I understand that. It doesn't happen with Lopez. Now, let me get into some intricacies here with you guys. And I'm going to lose most of you. You're not going to find this interesting. But the rest of you are going to find this very fascinating. And you can't get this anywhere else. I took on, and this was in Oregon. We're in a different municipality. But I took on Oregon when I was 24 years old. I took on the Attorney General's office 7 times in court. I beat them all 7 times. And the reason I beat them is I knew the rules, and they did not. And at some point in each hearing, they would fumble, and I would not. And I would gain favor based on that. I only tell you, just a real expert within the rules. Now, I don't believe Diego Lopez knows any of this to be true. But it is true. And when Diego Lopez got called at 3 in the morning, and he was asked to fight at 155 pounds, accept the fight at 155 or I'm going home, and there's no fight. All right. You've got to understand why that was why call him at all? Why not just show up at 9? Weighing at 151. Miss weight by 6 pounds. Fight goes on. Like, what difference? What do we got to call and wake up Lopez for? Well, and why strong arm him? Why say you take this or there's no fight? Because if Lopez would have said no, what the other option was is the one that I just explained. They show up to the weigh-in overweight and have 20% of their purse taken away. Some of you are going to believe, and you've read headlines where reporters have written, and they've only written it because they don't understand it themselves. Brian Ortega did not miss weight. I'm talking about right now. Right now, if you were to go back and say, well, Ortega missed weight this week. No, he did not. He did not because he knew the rule and he got the weight changed. He made the weight. He made the contracted weight. He got the contract changed. And it's significantly different. Why you don't lose a percentage. That's why. That is specifically why. And I don't know if Lopez understood that was he was up against. When he said, yeah, we'll take it at 155, he could have said, no, put the phone down, still taking the fight. Do you understand the distinction here? Okay. Now, the reason I took the time to explain that to you is another thing that guys don't know. And this is not true within every municipality. And I must tell you, in all fairness, I did not read the Nevada statute. You hear about unified rules, we're all going to do the same rules. That's for the rules of what you're allowed to do within the sport. They're not actually all of the administrative rules. There's a lot of nuances. So, show. What does it mean to show? Well, you got to get in there and fight. No, you don't. Now, in full disclosure, I did not take the time before this piece to read the Nevada statute, but I have never seen a statute in any state where you have to get in the ring. By definition, that's what everybody thinks. Nobody thinks to ask for their purse. Nobody knows that they have the right to. Show is defined by weighing in. The promoter and the risk that he takes is only between the weigh-in and the fight that the guy's going to slip, that the guy's going to stumble, that something like this is going to come up. And it could bankrupt a promoter. It's a very big deal. I feel that rule should be changed, but I'm sharing with you when Lopez was offered Ige, at that point, this is the second time, Lopez could have walked and his life is the exact same, meaning the same amount of money gets deposited in his bank account within 30 days after he passes a drug test, just like every other fighter on the card. He had already shown, or he can go fight Ige and get the same amount as if he would have just gone home. So it was a very big deal what Lopez did. It was a very big deal that he accepted. And I think once you understand what I just said, I mean, there's two ways to look at it. The way I would look at it and the way that Lopez looked at it, which is this is the right thing to do. The promoter and I had an agreement. And I don't need to read the intricacies and find some way to stick it to you. We both know what was intended here. That's what Lopez did. But there was another way to look at it, which is I did everything I said I was going to do. Everything I agreed to do. This is unprecedented to bring a guy in like this. Nobody would agree to this, evident of the fact that nobody ever has agreed to this. And if you understand it from that perspective, the other way to look at it is not only did Lopez do the fight, he did that fight on the house. Lopez did not get any more money to do that fight than if he got on a Greyhound and went back home. I'm just sharing that with you. So in that perspective, he not only did the fight, he did it for free. So it was a stud move by both guys. I don't want to take anything from Ige, man. Ige's one of my favorite guys to watch. I'm just sharing with you that when you're given the shine, don't ignore Lopez. He went through what you saw, but he was going through things that you also didn't see and understand until now.